Hey guys, Deepak here. And today in this webinar, we are going to talk about high ticket sales. And I feel like this is high time that we started talking about high ticket sales because as a course creator and as a digital mentor, I have been in this business for almost 6 years now. And one thing that I have realized is that the competition is increasing, not just in the courses market, but also in the freelancing services, agency, consulting market as well. And one of the most important things that is needed to survive in this market is to increase the price of your services, increase the price of your products. And it has been, a while for me to, go ahead and, slowly increase the prices of the products as well, because initially we start out with, when I launched my first course in 2016, end of 2016, I launched a course for 2000 rupees. So generally, most of us, have this mindset that, hey, if I price it low, then the response will be better. Then I will get more customers. I will be able to scale it. And that's how we get started. And initially, the confidence to price your products and services high doesn't come right off the bat. But that is a boundary that you have to, keep pushing. And now we are, 2022 has been the year where we have done a lot of restructuring with our agency and a lot of restructuring with our product and product funnel as well. And finally, we have been able to increase the product prices and also make sure that the increased price, delivers value. And we are also confident of delivering that much value, right? So if you have sold anything online so far, what is the unit price? So if it is freelancing, just, type, this is how much I charge per month hyphen freelancing. Or if you are selling a course, what is the price that you have sold the course at? So Arun Krishna is saying 5,000 rupees. Others also go ahead and put in the pricing, right? Whether it's a course or whether it's a freelancing, how much are you charging? Copywriting 50 paise per word. Come on, content writing cannot be sold at 50 paise per word anymore. Arif has sold a course at 4,000, Vidya at 999, which is 10,000, 4,000 by Pragita, and Arun Krishna has sold it for 5,000, 299 for online course. Christopher, you are the right audience for this. Put the number that is the maximum price of your product, not the minimum price that you start with. Social media brand managing, 25 to 30,000 per month, and 20% equity in sale revenue, which is good. And how do you guys come up with the pricing for the product? Do you look at the competition and then come up with the price? Let me know in the chat box. How do you come up with the pricing? How did you decide that all the people who said 4,000, 5,000, how did you even decide that, okay, I will charge 4,000 or I will charge 5,000? By watching YouTube videos? Okay. Learn as you go. But what made you decide on that price point? Blind guess. Yes, that's what we all do. And I think a lot of freelancers and agencies, they are charging like, 20,000, 30,000 per month. What is stopping you from charging 50,000 or 1 lakh per month, right? And generally there are two types of pricing. One is called cost-based pricing and one is value-based pricing. And cost-based pricing is basically used for commodities, right? Basically you see what is the cost and add a margin on top of it and then go ahead and just price it. So that is cost-based pricing. Value-based pricing is basically looking at how much value you are delivering to the client and how much is it worth to the client, and then charging, based on that. So Jayant, so this webinar is going to be more of a conversation between me and Jayant, and we are just going to, discuss on this topic. You guys can also add your points and whatever you think, in the chat box. So before starting the conversation, one more thing I would like to tell is that when you go ahead and sell something like very low cost, let's say you are selling a 1 rupee chocolate, you don't need so much of convincing to get people to buy it, right? Because it's a very, very low ticket price, and then you are just going ahead and just like selling it. When the product price is very, very low, it's more of a commodity, and there is more of marketing and branding activity than a sales activity. So when I sold my first course, I did not have a landing page copy. I did not have an email copy also. I just told people that this is the outline of the course. Here is the payment link. Go ahead and buy. And I was still able to get started because it was very, very early in the market, and there were not many people, in the industry. I was generating leads for like 3 rupees per lead, and I was generating like 800,000 leads a day. And it was okay because I was just shooting in the dark. But then once we started increasing the price to 5,000 rupees, we had to sell it via a landing page. So that is one way to sell, where you need to influence and convince and persuade your customers to pay a higher price, which means that you need to market it to them and convince them of the value that your product is delivering. And more importantly, talk to the problems and needs that the customer has. Only then they will value it higher, right? So then video sales letters came, and then live webinars came, and then as the product price keeps increasing, you need to do one-on-one sales. And from there, like let's say a very big IT company like HCL or Infosys, if they are closing a deal with, let's say, a Bank of England, then they need like not just a salesperson but a sales team and multiple in-person sales meetings where you have to travel to the client place and everything. So the engagement level goes up as the ticket price goes up, because the client might have more objections and more clarity to decide on a particular sale. And you can think about it in the B2C market as well. In B2C, if you are just going ahead and buying something, then if it is a price of the product is high, then there is usually a salesperson involved. Like for example, excuse me. For example, if there is a car that you are going to buy, do you buy a car like you buy clothes? Do you just go to a showroom and just buy it? Yes. So you probably test ride the car. A salesperson gets in touch with you. He communicates with you, and then he convinces you to buy a particular product. And it's also a long-term purchase. So whenever the price is higher, and it's a long-term purchase, then the sales cycle is also longer, right? You need to establish contact, then you need to contact them, follow up with them. When you look at real estate is also something that people take some time to decide on, at least like 3 months before they invest 50 lakhs or 1 crore in a property. So that way, so Jayant, over to you. What is it that you have learned in the past 2 years about sales and increasing the prices and getting to high ticket?
Yeah. So, hey, for people who don't know me, I'm Jayant. I close for DD, make money for
How
him.
many people know Jayant here? Just type J in the chat box.
Aw.
Pretty much everybody
Good. A lot
know.
of people here.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Hmm.
So, in the last, what, 2 years, we have closed over 3.54 crores worth of deals. And one thing that TD just mentioned, what something about cost-based and value-based pricing and closing, it became more and more evidently clear that as you keep growing in the business and if you really want to make more money, it's absolutely critical for you to raise your prices. Now, let's do a thought experiment. Okay. What would you do to increase the revenue of your current business? Any ideas? Put it in the chat. I know increasing the price is one. You can't say increasing the prices because we already revealed that to you. Number of clients, get more clients, of course. What more? Product quality doesn't attract customer. We are talking about marketing. The customer doesn't even, experience the product quality unless they buy, right? So that doesn't come into the picture. New products, okay, okay. More clients, less customer acquisition cost, right? Or again, what can be anything else? Less operation cost. Yeah. So the idea is there are only three ways to increase the revenue of a brand or an agency. Okay. In general, like if you bring consulting in the picture, e-commerce, product based, there are multiple verticals around there. Now, let me tell you the problems with all these verticals. When you go ahead and increase the number of customers, the problem that happens is the number of support tickets, the number of operations that you need to put into that particular guy, that number of customers increases exponentially. One person team can maximum handle what, 5 customers at a time? But as soon as you go beyond 5 to 10 to 20 customers, you can't handle it alone. You need a team. How many of you agree with me? Let me know. Right? And with that growing team, you need to make sure that these, let's say 5 employees you are having, they interact with the customers with the same level of enthusiasm that you are interacting. Then you need to hire a manager for them. Then a single point of contact for the customer. So you see how the operations are increasing, the price, the cost to maintain that level of revenue also increases at one point. So this is the cons of increasing, having many customers, right? The other side though, which is reducing the operation cost or reducing the customer acquisition cost, is something that is, it's not true. It can't happen. As let's say if you're running ads to get those customers, eventually the cost of ads will keep on growing. That's the sign of growing economy. Or if you are having more and more customers, your operation cost will keep on growing, even if you are an expert in operations, because you need more people to handle handle your customers. Am I correct? How many of you agree with me? Right? Now, what is the alternative where you can have more peace of mind and work with less people and have more profits? It's raising your prices. If somehow you can raise your prices, then you can obviously have more revenue because you have, let's say you have 5 clients paying you 1 lakh a month versus 10 clients paying you 50,000 a month. You'll always have more advantage working with 5 clients paying you 1 lakh a month, right? Agreed? And at that point, you might need just one account manager, maybe one other, graphic designer, whoever the operation guy is. Pay them the best of the salary that they're getting paid in the industry. You'll have the best quality of team in the world who can manage the right kind of customers. Plus, you'll have a lot of profit. Does it make sense?
Easier said than done, Jayant, but
Done though. Yeah, that is where. That is
so
why through this webinar, right? Yeah.
yes. So when people feel like, array, what if I, like, instead of charging 20,000 a month, what if people can charge 1 lakh a month, but they hesitate to post a cost of 1 lakh a month, thinking that what if the client gets a little bit offended? Like, how many people think that the client might get offended? Just type me in the chat box that if you put like a
Yeah.
very high price. Yes, that is the biggest fear. And
Yeah.
there is also this feeling that, hey, if I post a very high price, then there is a chance that they might say no also, right? So it's like you have a girlfriend, but you are hesitating to propose to her, because what if you propose to her, you can't even then talk to her, right? So you are like, let's
Yeah,
be
I
friends
think
for a
people
while,
will.
and then when the time is right, let's go ahead and propose. So that is the same kind of hesitation that you feel with clients as well, right? And
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
the thing is that with increasing your prices, it need not necessarily be something that you have to go ahead and slowly get there, which many people do. Even I have done that. Slowly I have increased the price from 10,000 to 20,000 to 50,000 to 1 lakh. I have done it very slowly. But at the same time, there have been situations where I came up with the price and then I deleted it and I just 2x'd it, and then 2x is, I think, a decent way for you to go forward with it. Just type 2x in the chat box if you can commit that whenever you are posting any price next time, whatever you have come up with finally until the last point of building the proposal or pricing the product, after that, just before you're pitching it, just 2x the price of it. You will be surprised that the sale actually comes through. And what happens many times that is it is easier to work with successful people than with people who are not successful and people who are struggling. It is easier to sell to people who are struggling because they are like,
Yeah.
oh, I need something and I need at a low price. But the thing is that from what we have seen, if we charge a client 50,000 a month and if we charge a client 5 lakh a month, obviously for 5 lakh a month, we have to provide that level of services. But at the same time, it is much more easier to work with them and they are much less complaining if they are paying 5 lakh compared to a person who is paying 50,000, because the person who pays 50,000 is much more demanding. So never ever think that just because you are pricing low, your client will be more forgiving. Clients are always more forgiving
Yeah.
when you price it high. If you sell something for 10 rupees, that's when you will have, like, customer come and fight. Have you ever
I
seen somebody
love,
fight in a five-star hotel about the bill? And have you ever seen somebody fight in a small mess or a hotel? Yes. How many of you can relate
yeah.
to it? You attract more quality customers, and how many of you here, whether you have Apple products or not, how many of you want to own
Oh,
Apple products?
exact same example I was was
Oh,
about to
about to
give.
say, see,
Yeah.
everybody
Like,
is
ev
aspiring to own an Apple product, right? So that aspirational value can come only from the pricing. And obviously, when you price it high, you will also have the margin to provide a better quality of service. If you are
exactly.
pricing it low and if the client is asking for something extra, you might feel like hesitant. Like, client is paying this much only, but he's asking me to do so much. But if the client is paying really high, if he asks something, you can, still do it. And in many cases, they will pay extra for it.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
So this is one of my favorite examples, and like it opened my eye when I was just noticing it. Like
Mm.
every goddamn smartphone company out there, they are like slashing their prices. OnePlus is getting cheaper and cheaper to share so-called market share. And okay, they have their own audience, but Apple goes the exact opposite way, right? It's like we are not for everyone. We're only for this kind of person who has this needs and will only charge this much. And look who's winning, right? People are standing in lines to get an Apple iPhone, or like whenever something launches, you see those crazy stories in news, right? It's signs up. So the idea is not like charge like Apple, but then again, you have to understand what Apple does. It's not just the pricing, it's also the positioning. And in most cases,
Pricing
pricing is
itself is
positioning.
positioning. Yes.
Yeah, right? It's not like, okay, you provide the same level of services and charge high. No, you obviously deliver higher quality of service, but you do charge high. Position yourself to a specific group of individual, towards a
Mm.
specific
Mm.
company,
Mm.
right? Yeah.
So to take the conversation forward, tell me in the chat box, what is preventing you from increasing your prices? What is the feeling? Do you feel like, hey, my product or service is not that great to be priced at that level, or you think you cannot convince people to pay that much? What is the mental barrier that you have in terms of increasing the prices? Or if you say,
Oh, I love the first one, competition.
very important point to
Awesome.
discuss.
Yeah. Not successful with low price itself. Oh, dude, like I have such bad experience with, not bad experience per se. I had okay experience, but I was not unsatisfied experience with low ticket prices. When I launched my e-commerce course, got some 200 people to enroll in it at 5,000 rupees, and I got some two case studies out of it. And I was like, dude, I struggled so hard to create this entire training. Hardly two people actually used it. I was like, what just happened here? It was insane. And how many coaches feel that? And when I asked other coaches, this is normal. People get 1% testimonial. But then again, it's not as satisfactory as a creator, right? You don't expect more people to implement and everything. Do you think that's correct, Didi? I think
Yes.
that's the reason why you went into internship and started giving cashback, so that at least people start implementing it.
Yes. Yes. We cannot always say that, so when you look at Amazon competes on quality as well as on price. Yes, there is a price factor, but the price factor can be put into use when there is something called price elasticity. So there are price inelastic markets, and then there are price elastic markets. So price elastic markets, may the revenue will go up if you reduce the pricing because more people will buy it. But you can do that if you are not personally involved in providing a service, or your service component is very, very low. And one more thing I would like to mention here is that a lot of people just think in a very binary way. There is a product company or there is a service company, but there is always, there is this difference that, there is always this spectrum. There is a percentage of service and percentage of product. So you might think of Apple as a product-based company, but even they have to have a small percentage as a service component. Like what if your laptop stops working? You need to take it to the service center. And even if
Yeah.
only 1% of the laptops actually stop functioning, during the warranty period, that will damage their brand so much that it will take their entire brand down. Nobody will buy it. But 99% of the time, you buy an Apple product, and for years it works without any problem. So let's say Apple is at the right end of the spectrum, where 99% is product, 1% is service. When you are an employee, you are 100% service. You don't have any product, and you are literally selling your time to provide a service. If you are a freelancer, then maybe you have a little bit of branding, maybe you have a little bit of systems and processes. So it could be like 5% product, 95% service. So slowly you are going to move the line towards making it more of a product and less of a service, but service component is not something that you can eliminate. And if you feel
Yeah.
like, okay, a low ticket product is going to bring in customers, it need not necessarily be compared to a competition. For example, my first Apple purchase was a iPod Shuffle, and that's what people do. They buy iPhones, and then they buy MacBook Pros, and then maybe tomorrow Apple might even launch a car, who knows. So that funnel is there, yes, but you are not pricing it based on the competition. You are pricing it based on value, and you are going to go ahead and build out that sales funnel. So that way I might not be able to sell the exact internship program at the current state at 50,000, because it's more of a product, but I don't mind even getting 500 students in a batch, because the service component is less, and that is how the product has been designed, right? So that
Yeah.
is one more thing to think about. It's not always binary. Hey, only do high ticket, and don't sell anything else. Like for
Plus,
example,
I would add my 2 cents really. I
yeah,
mean, it's not just a battle between product and services. The way I look at it is this, and you guys tell me if you resonate with, if you vibe with me, right? All of your clients and all of our clients, which are you guys, want to go from one level to another level. How many of you agree with me? Like you guys want to, who are here, level 1, you want to go to level 5, right? Right? Now, there is a way to go there. Whether you watch a Udemy course, whether you watch a YouTube video, whether you consult with somebody, whether you have a guy to sit with you and do it with you, or whether you hire somebody to do it for you. There are multiple processes to get there. Am I correct? Now, the problem is when this guy tries to go from here to here, it's not always that easy. For example, for a long time ago, I want to like grow my YouTube channel. It's like consistency is one thing, something that I've seen. Okay, I need a good video thing here. Now, either I can go and learn video editing, but again, I have to edit videos myself, spend time myself, all those things to myself, or maybe go join a video editing or YouTube mastermind where people come in and sit with me so that I get an accountability to do it, or I just pay somebody to do it for me. So there are always 3 levels. Now, based on the difficulty and the effort that you put, pay amount of money, right? If it is a course which is already product, all the effort I have to put, obviously I'll not pay it a lot of money. But when it is somebody who is doing it for me and saving me some amount of time, the price that they will quote is always much higher than the product. But in even in this scenario, the idea is you take me from level 1 to level 5 and you just make my life easier, right? And how easier and how cheaper you make it for me is how I'll pay you the money. Am I correct, Didi?
yes, yes, makes sense. That's how it has to
Yeah.
be approached.
Yeah.
Mm.
And the idea is, and that is where I feel like one of the best, one of the best ways to solve a problem, charge higher ticket is to solve a very, very critical problem. So just like you keep mentioning, right? A heart surgeon will charge much, much higher than a general doctor because the complexity involved in doing heart surgery and
Yeah.
the pain involved in not having a correct surgery is so
Mm.
much more higher than
Mm.
having a common flu.
Mm. Mm.
So when you solve that critical of a problem, you can obviously charge high
Mm.
because we are
Mm.
specialized in solving that problem. And that's how I look at it. So that's why when you see a social media marketer who is going to increase the Instagram followers may not be able to charge that high versus a guy who says, "Hey, I'll do social media, but my focus will be to give your business leads and qualify them so that they convert into a sale of let's say 1 lakh per sale and you make more money." that guy has so much more leverage than a guy who just does social media following, because he solves a bigger pain point, a bigger problem, which is generating leads and sales for a business. I think that's how you position it. What do you think, Didi?
Yes, makes sense. This is a good question asked by Mansi. She's asking, my contract is about to complete now, and right now I'm charging less compared to others. But now they want to work with me for going ahead. So how should I charge them more now? They are assuming they can work with me at the same price. So how would you tackle such a challenge?
All right, so I'll be like, all right, Didi, so how was your experience working with me? Let's say this is a conversation happening between you and me.
Okay,
So
amazing.
how's the last? Awesome, right? We
Ah,
generated good amount of revenue, maybe
yes,
crossed $150,000.
yes.
Awesome.
Hmm.
So how would you like to continue with me going forward?
I would like to continue with you because you are bringing in revenue for my company, and there is a direct ROI. So you have not asked for a price increase until now, so I will only give it to you.
Awesome. I love that. Love that. But let me propose this to you. So right now, uh, in the last couple of months, we are seeing steady sales and everything. But that's again a problem, don't you think? The sales are steady. They're not
Yeah,
growing.
yeah, they're not necessarily growing; they are steady. So I
Steady, which
think
is
we need
good,
to
but
be a little bit conservative with the expenses right now.
mm, alternatively, what if I can just like right now we are running ads and we are doing all this all this
Mm,
efforts paying people, customer success manager, all these things will never go down because if
mm.
you spend less money on ads, you will get less leads, right?
Yes.
So here's my proposition. Right now you are giving me 10% of the case close or cash
Mm,
collected.
mm.
What if I go ahead and reach out to people, generate leads for you and close them? And my pricing for this would be 25% instead of that. Because you are
Uh,
anyway spending 15,000 ish to get a book
yes,
meeting.
to acquire every new customer. So if I can take out the worry of the customer acquisition cost, then I can pay you a better sales commission. I
Awesome,
think we
right?
can run a pilot and see how that works.
Perfect. I just closed the deal. Mansi, does that
Yes.
sound good?
So Mansi, rather than just saying that, hey, this is my, pricing. I mean, I'm just increasing the pricing for the same services that I'm giving. You just go ahead and restructure the entire thing in a way that your pricing is linked to their results. And
Results.
if
Exactly.
see, nobody will say to more money. Where nobody will say no to more money. If you tell them that, hey, I will help you make more money, then they should be able to invest in you to, help you, make that right. So that
Yeah.
way, that is the way you have to position it and take the conversation forward. You have to identify new revenue opportunities for them and restructure your deal a little bit, and then slowly phase out the things where you feel like you are charging very less and providing too much value. That just restructure it. Like for example, if you are running Facebook ads for them, tell them that, hey, I will go ahead and also work with a copywriter and improve your ad copy, so that I'm not just doing performance marketing, and adding copywriting to this will help a lot in increasing the conversions. And that is the way you can approach it. And many times what happens is that we might think that, hey, why can't they hire a copywriter themselves and save money? But clients don't have time,
Yeah.
and they would be
So many.
asking for
Yeah.
you to, go ahead and manage it. Like, we are underestimating how much
Absolutely.
clients don't have time. Time is the most precious thing,
Exactly.
and taking
So I tell
initiative
you
and moving
this.
things forward.
Yeah, I tell you this. Like, there was a time where I was just cold pitching, and so this was the story of how I landed Astra as a company, as a client.
Mm.
So I used to follow them. I used to love. So the CEO also writes their own newsletters. I used to love them. Then after 5 to 6 newsletters, somebody else takes it over, and that's a good job. But I kept feeling like, okay, they might actually nurture their people a little bit more, and drive them towards sales more than just sharing random newsletters. And I just pitched them the service. And you'd think, okay, it's a big company, they would have a lot of resources. It's a $10 million company, dude. But I got the project. Like, hey, work on our email copies. And it did work. I crafted a nurturing sequence and I closed them for a very long term client. So a lot of people underestimate that, a lot of people get scared to pitch this big brands thinking that, okay, they might have the resources, but a lot of the time they don't have the resources. Even if they do, you can always come in and improve it.
Mm, mm.
right? Like
Yes.
success game, right? That's a prime example. That's
Yes.
what he did.
Yes.
100 crore companies, dude.
Yes.
Still,
Awesome. So Daksh Patel is asking, I'm charging 30 to 40K for a website. What are your thoughts on the price? Uh, See, most of the time, a client cannot make money just with a website. It's like helping someone, build a shop. Just by building a shop, you cannot make money. Maybe the website gives
yeah.
them online presence for them. Website alone without a marketing funnel is just a vanity, right? So
And
you could
yeah,
probably add, landing pages, lead generation, and then add email marketing on top of it to actually make their website functional and, make sure that they make revenue from the website. Then that is what restructuring the deal means. That is how you go ahead and propose. If
yep.
it is just website, 5 pages, say, then you are like, making it into a commodity. Then they will say, there are other people who do equally good design. They are charging only this much. You should never let the customer go ahead and be able to compare your services with someone else, right? And that's what happening,
Yeah.
many commoditized markets. Apple has definitely created a positioning, but still a lot of people will be like, they will just look at the specifications, itna MB RAM, hey, this camera is there. And then even in that case, to some extent, it gets commoditized, but Apple has created an ecosystem and they made it into a luxury brand. So they are not even competing with, let's say, OnePlus and other brands by just saying that, hey, I will give you a better processor, more. Apple, half the time, like, I don't know how much is my iPhone car RAM or
Yeah, I don't
apart
have
from the total
absolutely no.
storage space, I don't know what is the speed of the processor and I don't know what is the RAM because end
Can't
of
even feel like it's lagging, right? Never
uh,
lags, to be
so
honest.
so I think this is a excellent point to consider, that structure your product or service in such a way that it cannot be compared to anyone else in the market, right?
Also, I would add my 2 cents here as well.
Mm,
What is, see, the thing is, I would honestly never go out and say that, hey, I'm selling a website. See, again, you are coming to the cost-based thing because
mm,
whenever you are providing a service, most of the time people don't need a service, they need a solution. You have to understand the difference. So website designing is a service. Me giving you brand visibility, me giving you leads, me giving you sales is a solution. So when I talk in Alpha Club, when we talk with people who are operating at that level, I mean, this is a great price to start with. If you're a beginner, okay, you have 6 months of experience, going to that a year of experience, definitely start with this. Nothing wrong with doing this. But once you're a little bit experienced, you know that you can do better, but you just can't get past that glass ceiling. Start thinking about solution. And that's when I told, right, your client wants to go from level 1 to level 5. What are the steps they need to take to go to level 5? For example, let's say you are building this website for a doctor, right? Think about it. Me building this website, will it bring him more sales? Because ultimately they will want more patients to come here. So in that case, maybe 30, 40K is good price, no problem. You're designing well, it's functional, okay, that's fine. But it becomes more often than not a one-time price. But what more you can add to help him get more clients without worrying on hiring somebody else or like putting so much of an effort? Maybe optimizing his Google My Business is not such a bad idea. Maybe doing social media marketing and publishing his reach to get more people's visibility is not such a bad idea. Maybe if you can handle the operation, calling the customers who become their lead to make sure that they come to the clinic is not such a bad idea, right? So when you stack this offer, you can obviously charge high. So this is exactly what Koteshwar is doing, right? He's doing all these things. He's charging 1 lakh for 3 months in a retainer, that, right?
yes, makes sense. Makes sense. And when you stack that services, also it kind of makes the entire offering unique. That it cannot be
Yeah.
directly made into an apples to apple comparison, because end of the day, most of the people are stuck in the pricing thing when people are comparing it to others. So other people are there who are providing cheaper services. So if you are providing website design services, don't call it a website design service. Tell them that, hey, I will build a marketing funnel for you where a website is a part of it. Then there is
Yeah.
some other guy who is just providing a website design service. There is no way to even compare it to that, right?
Yeah. The
So
highest went is like I wrote a copy for a marketer,
mm,
charged like $5,000 for it.
mm, mm,
And I knew he would get more ROI because his product was only $1,000. Like 5 customer में तेरा आ जाएगा. And he
mm,
was also not hesitant to pick, okay, this copy will get me more than 5 customers, like
mm.
10, 15, 20, 100 customers. I don't know. So 5,000 is a deal for him. So yeah, it's always that value anchoring.
Yes,
not the price
yes.
anchoring, right?
Value anchoring and not price anchoring. Fantastic. Any other questions you want to address, Jayant?
Yeah, so we talked about pricing, positioning. Yeah, again, if you guys are not getting good clients, and by good clients, I'm talking about big businesses, established businesses. One thing to don't work with beginners. If you are beginning, great, it's good for building a brand, getting some testimonials out. But once you hit that 1 year, 2 year mark, you should not be working with just beginning people, because beginners are like struggling businesses. Because again, what I keep telling DD a lot of times is that marketers can't start a fire. We can add more fuel to a fire, but the business owner has to start its own fire. If they don't have their own proof of concepts, how can they expect us to do magic in their business? How many of you agree with me? Right? Awesome. Harsh asked a beautiful question. If I'm a beginner, how much should I charge? First of all, bro, if I'm a beginner, if I were you, I would honestly prefer working with a very large company, do whatever it takes to get their name, get their logo in my profile. So right there. And there I don't know the charges. I'll check out the job posting and like and anchor my price that way. So that, because working with bigger names will build my authority. Me being present with ED, of course, builds my own authority, right? Because that thing is there. Me working with Apple, like you go to Pixel Track's website, you see Mercedes Benz ka logo, you see Nikon ka logo, you see HDFC ka logo, Your Story ka logo. Of course, we'll have a better positioning than half of the marketing agencies in the world, right? Because I have worked with such brands. The very first thing, I would not work with smaller clients. I would go ahead and kill it in the bigger market first, so that other big people can notice me. That's first. Then I will go ahead and find clients that are apt. So we have talked about two things to raise the price. Of course, positioning, work with better clients, position yourself as an authority. Second is obviously value stack. S- Uh, Sorry, we have talked more about solving a painful problem and the value stack. I think we really need to talk about positioning. I think Raj today got that new client, right? 1.5 lakhs a month wala client.
Yes.
And all that happened just because he positioned himself to a specific niche. So he came to us and he asked this question, okay, hey, how do I get more clients out of it? And when I asked him, okay, bro, great. You are great at what you do. He has a $10 million case study in Google Ads. But he says, I'm getting paid 50,000 a month. I'm like, kya kar raha hai bhai tu? Then I started asking, okay, Raj, who do you serve? Like small businesses. I'm like, what small businesses? You have a freaking $10 million case study. What is that small businesses? Then we dug deeper and deeper and deeper and realized that out of some 10 clients that he has worked, he got some 6 or 5 clients got best results. And out of 6 clients, he got 2 interior design clients and 2 real estate clients. I'm like, there you go. That's your niche. So I told him, bro, you become the real estate guy of India. Position yourself like that. And he's kept on publishing content in LinkedIn, in Facebook, advertising, built his email list and started prospecting accordingly, and figured out that hey, if I just keep doing this, I'll get results. So what happened is a couple of months back, he was on a sales call with one of the clients earlier, right? But that time they didn't trust him. They stopped, they didn't even consider working with him. Today, what happened? They saw the exact same content, and now that he's targeting only those kind of companies, they gave him the job. As simple as that. So it's very important how you position. The only reason people come to Pixel Track today is because of Bristol Deepak. They don't know my face. They don't, half of them who come to me in Pixel Track, they don't even know that we have an agency called Pixel Track. They know, okay, I need to work with Deepak. Why? Because he has built his brand, he's positioned himself as the biggest digital marketer in the country. So how many of you agree with me? It's not just solution and the value stack, it's also the positioning.
And the positioning. Yes.
Right? I mean, BMW and Mercedes, they sell completely with positioning. Also, I'm not saying that value stack is low. They justify that value with concierge service. So today I was talking with Jeevan, was like he recently bought a BMW, and I was like, okay, you might whatever you say, bro. Like I compared BMW with Volkswagen, and that was my mistake. He got angry and all. Like, "Arey, aise mat bol. With my BMW, I'm getting concierge service. I'm getting this. If I'm late to airport, they call the airport and tell them that this guy is late, and all those things they do. Just like your Visa card, sorry, Amex card,
American
right?
Express, American card. Yeah.
Yeah, and these are the service that they add on top of the product to justify the quality of the car. No doubt the car is great. But again, these services are what we call pot sweeteners, right? They add more value. This
Mm.
feeling is justified, even though maybe a Volkswagen T-Roc will have a better driving experience than a BMW with half the
Mm.
price,
Mm.
right? That's where it is.
Cool. Awesome. So, guys, these points helped you have a mindset change. Just type M in the chat box if even little bit we changed your mindset today in terms of how you think through this. And this is what we do in Alpha Club all day long with all our
Yeah,
students and club members and even people who are in very very different niches. Like for example, in Alpha Club, we have one person who is a matrimonial lawyer, and
yeah.
we helped him 4x his price for the
Oh, six. I
leader.
think six.
6x.
6x. Yeah, he is
6x
in
is price,
6x now.
right? So this
Yeah.
is not something that is only limited to something like online digital freelancing, consulting, and agency. It also works in the medical industry, the legal industry, the CA industry, accounting industry. It works everywhere because you need to like go ahead and position yourself and justify the price, and you need to start having the confidence, and you will be surprised. Because once you increase the price and actually you start getting some customers, you will see that, hey, this is easier to work with these clients. I'm also happier working with these clients. I'm able to give them
Yeah.
results because people who
That's what
pay
happened with
more,
Thai, right?
yes.
Yeah.
So imagine you pay like 10,000 rupees to a gym in a year versus you pay 1 lakh to a gym in a year. What is more likely that you will go to the gym frequently and actually get results? 1 lakh or 10K? If you actually pay 1 lakh, right? If you pay 1 lakh, you have a higher level of guilt that, hey, I paid this much, I should not not use it. So you are actually more likely to get results, and end of the day, results is what matters, right? If I can guarantee you that, hey, if you are paying more, then there is a higher likely chance that you will reach the results will pay for the price automatically. So it's like you are putting a bet on it, you are putting an effort into it. And for me, on some psychological level, buying a premium domain name is a bet with myself that I cannot just let it go. I have to build a project on it, and I have to achieve it because I have paid a price for it, right? When I launched my 100-day
Yeah.
blogging course, I went ahead and brought the domain name learnblogging.com, and at that time it was $1,000, and at that time it was a lot of money for me. It was like 2 months of my personal expenses. But because I went ahead and put that bet, and because I paid for it, then I was like forced to build a good product on it and make the ROI, and have the love for that project because I invested, right? So when customers pay more, they pay more attention, they take more action, and they are more likely to get results. Because if you are selling a course for free, then it's all on YouTube. The YouTube, there are millions of views for each and every topic. Then there should be so many successful people. But sometimes a similar content with more actionable steps and with a community is delivered in a paid course, people are more likely to take the action, right? Awesome. So, any other questions, guys?
So Faizan is saying, how much is personal branding important for freelancers and agency owners? Who would rather work with you, Faizan? People who know you and who know you that an expert in your business, or people who don't know you?
Extremely important, Faizan. But rather than using the word personal branding, I would say having authority. And personal branding might be confused with having to build something like digital Deepak brand where everybody knows you. It's not necessary that way, but you need an authority, right? Like for example, you need to go ahead and have a blog, some level of authority indicators. Maybe you have written a book, maybe you have had a talk. The recording is there on YouTube. Because if you are reaching out to customers, if you are a freelancer, then if they are going ahead, coming and checking you out online, there has to be some credibility indicators, right? A professional photograph, a well-designed website, a blog with some, for example, if you are an e-commerce marketing expert, you need to have a personal brand blog in which you have written some articles about e-commerce marketing. You could write a case study there, and this is something that people will check it out. And eventually, this becomes a foundation to build your personal brand in the long term, where you can start gaining subscribers and an audience, and all those people. Cool. So anyway, I think we might not be able to go ahead and answer each and every question that is coming up. And this is obviously a free webinar, more of a value session that we wanted to give, but we want to do more of it more regularly. And yes, I will be publishing this particular video on YouTube. I have recorded it, and you will be able to watch the recording as well. How many of you have applied for Alpha Club here and looking forward to join Alpha Club? Because that's the primary thing that we do. We help coaches, consultants, trainers, and experts build a business around their brand and increase their price. I'm pretty sure you might have seen some emails, and you might have joined the waiting list. And if it is relevant for you, we will invite you to join. We have limited seats, and yes, look forward to the emails. So anything else, Jayant, to cover?
Yeah, I guess last point would be like think about your clients more than anything else. If it is a good client, it's not low budget client there. So think about what you can do to charge 10x of what you are charging. List down all those things and then start removing things. You'll be surprised to know how much more you can charge, right? So 1x of what you are charging right now, list down the current list, make a list where you're charging 10x more. What more you can do for this client if this guy paid you 10x more? Then see what you can remove from the operations, and you'll come up with a list that you can present, keep in your sales deck or in your office tab that you can present to this particular client eventually, so that you can charge that much more. It's like the simplest thing that you can do right now, even without a personal brand. Slowly you can obviously build a personal brand and everything.
Awesome. So I've also made like a small LinkedIn post asking you guys how was today's webinar and what you learned. So please go ahead and comment here. I will share the link in the chat box. And if we are not connected, I will send you a connection request as well. So that's the link. And it's more like, put some notes there. Whatever you learned today, if you put it in writing, then you will remember it better. Fine. Awesome. So thank you for attending the webinar on a Friday evening. While most of the people are partying, you wanted to grow your career and learn something new. And thank you, Dinesh. A lot of people think that I'm wasting money, but few people understand the value in creating brand names and acquiring the .com of that brand names, because
Yeah.
going forward into the future, English is not going away as a language, right? And as long as it's English, then the domain names are going to be in English, and no matter how many extensions come, .com will always be the OG of all the TLDs. Cool. Thank you, guys, and good night. And thank you for attending the session, and look forward to more sessions like this. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Bye.